Okay guys, we're going to do a quick review on addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division with fractions. We're going to do one example of each, starting with addition. I know when I'm doing addition problems with fractions, I need to make sure that my denominators are exactly the same. So I have to look at these two numbers and figure out what is the smallest number that they have in common. Well, in our case, the smallest number these two have in common is 24. So I want to be able to make the denominator 24. Well, what do I have to do to 8 to turn it into 24? I have to multiply by 3. And I know if I multiply by 3 on the bottom, I must multiply by 3 on the top as well. My numerator and my denominator must be multiplied by the same amount, okay? So 8 times 3 we already know is 24. 5 times 3 gives me 15. Now I'm going to look at 1/3. Again, I want this 3 to turn into 24. Well, to make that happen, I have to multiply it by 8. So I'm going to multiply 3 by 8, and again, whatever I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. My top and bottom numbers must be multiplied by the same amount. Okay, so 3 times 8 is 24. 1 times 8 is 8. And again, I am adding together. If it confuses you to see it like this, because I know the bottom cannot change, my denominator is going to be 24. If it bothers you to see them separated like that, it is totally okay to do it like this and then find your solution, okay? If it bothers you having them separated like that. So 15 plus 8 I know is 23. So my solution would be 23 over 24. And there is my final answer. Okay, let's look at subtraction. Subtraction is done exactly the same way, but instead of adding, I'm subtracting. Okay, so again, looking at 2 and 5, what do these two numbers have in common? My least common multiple, I know, is 10. So I need my denominator to turn into 10. Well, how do I do that? Well, that's real easy. I know that 2 times 5 gives me 10, and I know that 5 times 2 gives me 10. And just like we did with addition, what I do to the numerator, I must do, what I do to the denominator, I must do to the numerator. So what I do to the top, I must do to the bottom. What I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. Okay? 2 times 5 gave me 10. So 1 times 5 is going to give me 5. 5 times 2 again gave me 10. And 2 times 5. Oh, look at that. That should be 2 times 2, not 2 times 5. So let's get rid of that 5. I wrote it wrong. 2. There we go. That looks so much better. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4. And again, I am subtracting. And just like with addition, if it bothers you to have them separate like this, you can combine them and say 5 minus 4. And I know 5 minus 4 is 1. So my solution is 1/10. And there we go. Okay, moving on to multiplication. Multiplication is probably one of the easiest ones to do because all you literally have to do is multiply. I'm going to, again, pretend like I'm on a train track. I go in my lane I can't get off, straight across, 2 times 1 in my numerator, 8 times 4 in the denominator, and I am going to get what? Well, 2 times 1 is 2. 8 and 4 is 32. Okay, so I've got 2 over 32. I know that in math I must always reduce to the smallest form, and I know 2 and 32 are both even numbers, and if they're both even numbers, they must be divisible by 2. So if I know no other number to divide by, I know if they're even, I can always divide by 2. So here I have 2 divided by 2. I know that's the only number I can divide by. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 32 divided by 2 is 16. So my solution is 1/16. Okay, let's go into division, the last one we're going to do. Division is very simple. You're literally going to do the keep, change, flip of your sign and the location and whatnot of all of your numbers. You have 3 steps. My first step is find the reciprocal. Okay, I'm going to abbreviate that. The second step is to rewrite into a multiplication problem. And the third step is to multiply, simplify. Okay, multiply, simplify. So the first thing I'm going to start with is my reciprocal. Well, I know my reciprocal, my numbers literally flip places. Okay, so 2 over 7 turns into 7 over 2. I am now going to rewrite using a multiplication instead of division. So I've got 5/6 times my new number up here, my new 7 over 2. Now I'm going to do just what I did before, multiply, simplify. So multiply straight across. I get 5 times 7, and on the denominator 6 times 2. Well, I know 5 times 7 is 35, and I know 6 and 2 is 12. Well, if I look at this, I now have 35 over 12, and that is absolutely an improper fraction. I must reduce this. I've simplified, now I've multiplied, now I must simplify. Okay, so I know simplifying these, I can literally just do the division. Okay, so how many times does 12 go into 35? Well, 2, that gives me 24. Subtract that is 11. Well, I can't go that any farther, so my solution would be 2 wholes and 11 over 12. Because remember, I take my remainder and I stick it back on top and make a fraction with it. I do not have remainders any longer. All right, there we go. We've done a division, a multiplication, a subtraction, and addition backwards. So there's division, multiplication, subtraction, and addition. All right, have a great day.